I've got none other than promoter Frank Warren. It's a new era here in Manchester. How are you, Frank?
I'm good, mate. I'm absolutely delighted to be here, and it is, as you say, a new era. So we're looking forward to the great fights that we're going to be putting on over the next few years.
Biggest show of the year for yourself so far, and rightly
Yeah.
so. Some cracking fights on this card. Firstly, let's start off the top of the bill. Terry Flanagan defending his WBO World title against Peter Petrov. Petrov seems to be a bit of a dangerous character. We're looking at his record. He's on a good run. Said Terry thinks he was the best out of the opponents available. What can you tell us about that fight?
Well, it's a tough fight for him, and I think he's, other than fighting a world champion, I think that's the toughest fight out there. So he's picked him, and he's got him, and he's got to come through that fight. And I'm quite sure he has the tools to do that. And if he does, then he'll be looking to fight a Lomachenko or a Linares, and that's where he's at. That's where Terry wants to be. This is his fifth defence. So, I think tough fights get the best out of Terry, and he's got a platform now where he's going to get great exposure, and hopefully that'll change his fortunes.
We'll come on to the BT and the exposure and the link up in just 1 second. I just want to focus on Terry a little bit. I mean, do you think he has got the general fear factor for the Petrov fight, and we'll see Terry go up a level in performance?
You only got to look at him. He's in great condition. He's got himself really fit and well for this fight, and he knows he can't afford a slip up. He's training for this like he was fighting a Linares or a Lomachenko.
Linares is obviously getting a lot of plaudits of late after his 2 wins over Anthony Krylov. Potentially, do you think if Terry comes through this, that will be one of the fights you push for?
We tried to make it, but they exercised their rematch clause with Linares. We made an offer, and they accepted the offer, but unfortunately, Anthony Krylov, and probably unfortunate for him, he went in there with him, so he got beat, and we didn't get the fight we wanted. So I'm sure the fight's there to be done. Terry's up there. He's got the longest undefeated run in British boxing. And there's a reason for that. It's because he's a good fighter.
Seems to be getting a lot more attention, a lot more plaudits. We've seen him at the Etihad being sort of paraded around. It must be fantastic for him to get that recognition within his own city.
It is, and it's been a long journey, and obviously for him, and he's been with us for a few years now. I've always had a lot of time for him. I always thought he was a quality fighter. It's taken us all this time to get to where we've got to. We've now got this platform that we're working on, and hopefully Terry will benefit from that.
Has the window for the Terry Flanagan v Anthony Krylov fight gone, in your opinion? Do you think that fight's still there, or is it?
He's lost his last 2 fights, and he's got to come back. Even if he wanted to make the fight, he couldn't, because he's coming off of 2 losses, and he'd have to have a good win before anybody would consider him. Certainly before the WBO would consider it.
Let's talk a little bit about one of the most interesting fights this year to be made. Liam Smith, Liam Williams for the WBO interim title. How excited are you about this fight personally?
Well, I'm very excited about it. The Battle of the Liams. It's funny. It's a fight that's divided everybody in the boxing community. Everybody's given their views who will win and who won't win, and respected judges. Nobody's agreeing. Very few people agree, and they've all got their different reasons. So, I think the good thing about it is that the fans are going to benefit from it. It's going to be competitive. I think it's the sort of fight you could put on in a phone box. And for the winner, who's fighting for the interim title, he comes away with quite a significant prize, because Alvarez at the moment is, or Canelo, whatever you want to call him at the moment, he's a champion. Is he going to fight again at light middle? I doubt it. So the winner would be, that eventually when he vacates, the winner will be declared champion. And if they are declared champion, they then have to make a mandatory defence, and the next guy in line is Cotto. So whether they fight Canelo or Cotto, they're tough fights.
Where does the loser of this fight go? Do you think the loser of this can come back? Liam Williams is 24, Liam Smith is 27, I think.
Boxing's about winners and losers, how you lose and the circumstances. Of course the loser will come back, the career won't be over. How many when you think of that's what's quite so unique about Terry Flanagan, he's got this 32-0 record. Most boxers have losses on their records and come back. Look at people like James DeGale. He had a loss against Rose, but went on to win a world title. You look at people, like Amir Khan. He got knocked out in 1 round and then won a world title. It's just, it's all about character and coming back if you get beat.
Let's talk about double Olympic medalist, gold medalist Nicola Adams, the woman that has managed to change your views on well, a whole side of the sport that we sort of haven't been involved in before. Talk to me firstly about Nicola and how special of a talent she is.
Well, she's a talent. Obviously, she's done everything as an amateur. She's a double gold medalist. She's won world's, European, Commonwealth amateur titles. To win be a double Olympian gold medalist, I think that was the first one for 100 years. So she's very successful, as well as being a fantastic boxer. She's a really great advert for boxing. She's a great advert for British sport. She's crossed over, and with the greatest respect to all these guys, she's probably more recognisable to the average person in the street than they are. And I'm sure that's going to change with with the other guys getting some recognition. But she comes into this as being somebody who everybody knows, the general public knows. She's a sporting icon, and so I'm delighted to be involved in it. She certainly changed my mind.
She certainly is a flag bearer for women's boxing. If you're looking at the States, the likes of Clarissa Shields, we've had Katie Taylor as well developing.
The world's changing. As my daughter said to me, you're a dinosaur. You need to liven yourself up and get on the programme, and that's what I did.
Did your daughter's comments have anything to do? You genuinely thinking about the women's side of the boxing?
Yeah, because it was like I said to her, I don't like it, and the reason I didn't like it is they were also one-sided. If good fighter against the one-sided in them, but there are more women doing it now, and obviously the quality has improved, and people want it.
Let's talk a little bit about a big heavyweight making his debut on Saturday, Daniel Dubois, 19 years of age, pure giant of a specimen of a man. How did the link up and the signing come about with Daniel?
It came about because we were, I was hearing, like everybody heard in boxing, how he was getting on with his sparring with various heavyweights out there, quality heavyweights, professional heavyweights. So we had a meeting, and we did a deal. We done a deal very quickly. I'm delighted that he's with us. He's only 19 years of age. He's a baby as a professional fighter, and certainly as a heavyweight. And he has he's got a journey that I think is going to be really exciting.
You acted with quite a lot of decorum in the press conference today. When someone brought up about some sparring stories, you was quite quick to deflect the attention away from Daniel.
Let's get it right. Everybody, you hear all the stories that how he got on in boxing. Harry's got on in boxing and how well he's done, but that's not for. He's not a bragger. He's not that type of guy. So I think if you want to know how he got on with various heavyweights like Anthony Joshua or whoever else, ask them. I'm sure they'll give a good account. Give him a good reference.
How fast do you expect Daniel to move? Do you expect him to be within the British title within 10 fights, or is it a case of seeing how he?
I'd be very surprised if he's not fighting for a British title in 10 fights. I'd be very surprised.
Interesting, the heavyweight division at the moment, especially domestically. There's a lot of fights to be made.
It's a strong division, isn't it? There is a lot, and there's a few guys out there that for want of a better phrase, not being derogatory, it would be good, stepping stone or learning fights for him. Names out there.
Stat card. I want to touch a little bit on Jack Catterall v Martin Geffen as well, which is a great fight.
That is a good fight.
Interesting to see what Geffen's got left in the tank, and interesting to see if Catterall's as good as what people like yourself think.
Well, I'm going to be honest. Jack, I've always been banging the drum for Jack. I expect big things of him. He's had a couple of fights where he's just not seemed to upped it. Got into, gone through the gears, and now that's what he's got to do. He's moving up a level now, and that's what we expect him. So I think this fight for him is going to be a real tough fight. And again, it's we've not done anybody any favours on this card. They've all got fights.
Who and what would you like to make within your own company over the next 6 to 12 months? What fights have you been thinking about? What interests you, Frank?
Well, I think that Terry comes through. And obviously, he says he wants Lomachenko or Linares. I think one of those fights definitely I'd like to do. Whether I'd like to see Cotto fight the winner of the Liams. That's the immediate fights, mate.
The winner of the Liams.
Yeah, well, it's going to be. Listen, the winner's going to be named Liam. So the winner, whoever it is, to be in there, because they're the fights we want to deliver. And it's been, as you're been part of the Box Nation team. It's been a hard slog, and now we're into a different era, a new era, and we're working with a platform that delivers us the ability to. We make big fights, but to make the big fights and to actually get the public's imagination. This fight was this show was put together quite quickly But now we get this one done, get it out of the way, and we're on a roll with some really good fights coming up. You know, Selby and Josh Warrington, Paul Butler, McDonald. I mean, they're all great fights out to be made. That's where we are. That's where we are. And I can, top head, probably think about another 6 or 7. So there's lots there, and we want to make those fights. They're important fights. I want to see Billy Joe Saunders get what he should be getting. He should have been fighting Golovkin. We want that fight. He wants that fight. You know, we had a contract there sitting there for the fight, and it's still sitting there on the table. So we're waiting to see what happens with that.
You mentioned Billy Joe Saunders. As you said, we've expected Billy Joe Saunders for that fight to be signed after the GGG Daniel Jacobs fight. So what has been the hold-up, as you know?
Well, they're saying at the moment they're saying that Golovkin's injured. So we're waiting to see where this is all going. But as far as I'm concerned, we agreed terms, and so much so that we made an interim fight. We paid a guy to step aside to enable it all to happen. So we've done everything we can to deliver that fight, and Bill deserves it. He's been let down by, dare I say the name Eubanks, all that sodding around with him. And one thing about Bill, he's got the pen in his inside pocket. He's signed to fight anybody. There's never been a problem with him. The one thing about Billy Joe Saunders, you've never had him saying he's not going to fight. He's the guy who always wants to fight.
Do you think the Canelo Chavez Jr. situation and the Golovkin won't happen Canelo has got anything got anything to do with it?
We're not going to know till after May 6 what's going to happen. I mean, it's all up in the air at the moment, and we're trying to resolve it.
Let's talk a little bit about the link up with BT Sport. Boxing seems to be an ever-changing landscape and certainly growing in sort of terms of profile and promotions. How excited are you to venture into this new link up with BT Sport?
I'm really excited because we keep dubbing it the new era. It's a new era for us, and we're moving forward with this. With a big platform. BT is it was the biggest communications business, I think, one of the biggest in Europe, and for us to be working with them, with the exclusive deal that we got with them, to be able to to tap into in the future into their EE customers. They've got 18 million customers, EE customers. We've got a major platform to work with. So for our boxers, they're hopefully now going to get all the recognition they deserve.
Do you think this is a big tool in sort of signing new boxers and potential talents that are coming?
Well, we sign fighters. We've signed fighters. We've done that over the years. But this, obviously, it gives us more strength to do so. And it's a level playing field now. There's no if you want to be on pay-per-view, you've got to go with Matchroom. That's all dead now. We have the capability to do that. We've got a bigger platform than Sky Sports with BT, so it's nice. It's all evened up a bit, and we'll have some fun. And we've got to get this one out of the way. And once this show's done, we're moving on to some seriously good fights and shows, and I think we're going to have a very, very eventful and exciting future ahead of us.
With the new link up with Foot Asylum, does that mean we're going to see you casually walking into press conferences with some Harachis on, Frank? Are you going to have casual Wednesday?
I wear them in the bedroom at night. I'm in front of the mirror and I've got them all on all the time, mate.
Do you ever wear tracksuits, Frank? Genuinely? Do you ever wear tracksuits and sort of downtime clothes?
Yeah, but what I like to do is show a bit of respect for the thing we do. Of course I do. When I go home, I'll dig out my old Adidas trainers and circa 1960. Yeah, but when I'm back now, it's all retro stuff.
Old school.
Of course, I'm really pleased with what we're doing, and with the link up with Foot Asylum. It's great for us.
Yeah,
and with 32 Red, they're great sponsors for us, our betting partners.
Art Paluvo seems like a bit of a character. First time I've got to see him today. You and him got a lot of history together. You seem to go back many moons.
I've known Artie for 30 odd years, 35 years. Yeah, we go